What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for tuning in once again. I'm your host with a beard. Yes, the beard is back. And today I am very excited to bring you a review of the fully electric Ford Mustang Mach E. So Ford's new 2021 model. I'm going to do a walk around of the exterior, talk about the interior and some of the features of the car. Then finally, I'm going to take the car on the road and see how it drives. I have the car for a limited amount of time, so without further ado, let's jump right into the review. Check it out.
First of all, I would like to thank the people from the Vos and the Wankel for providing me with this car and making this review possible. The Vos and the Wankel is a Ford dealership in the surroundings of Roeselare and Ieper, and they have some really nice models in their showroom. I am going to link their website and their Instagram channel down below, so be sure to go and check them out.
Alright guys, here we have it. Ford's fully electric vehicle, the 2021 Ford Mustang Mach E. Immediately you notice when you're checking out the front that there is a lack of a grille, and I don't know why these LED lights turn on. Let me close the car. Okay, so we see a lack of a grille, and not so much a lack of a grille, but a really small grille, or what is supposed to be resembling a grille right here. These parts down here, they will open up if the battery needs cooling. So all these flaps here, they just open up when the battery is really warm. Nice little Mustang logo over here. And we have the front-facing camera, of course. I think it looks pretty decent and pretty aggressive from the front. Obviously it doesn't look like a Mustang, and it does come with these beautiful daytime running lights and sequential turn signals, as I'm showing right here. There we go. And now you can see you have this entire wide LED strip here, and then these three little strips going down. Full LED headlights, of course. And these sequential turn signals, they just look gorgeous. Moving to the side of the Ford Mustang Mach E, we see this version is equipped with 19-inch rims. I think they still look small, although 19-inch is really big for rims, but on this car they look pretty small, so I would probably go for 20 or even 21-inch rims for having the ultimate cool look. This is obviously where you charge the car. Here we have the Ford Mach E 4X logo. So this model is the version with the extended battery, and it's the range topping model with 351 horsepower and about 580 Newton meters of torque. So this is the range topping model until the GT gets released, which will have even more power and will be the flagship model of this version. We see that the mirrors also have these LED strips in it for the turn signals. It does kind of look sporty if you look at it from the side. Doesn't really resemble a Ford Mustang, so I don't know why they named it that. It does look like these taillights. They do look like the taillights a bit of the Ford Mustang Coupe, as we all are used to. And again, we have the Ford Mustang logo right here. All-wheel drive, so we have dual motors, one on the front axle and one on the rear axle. Pretty beautiful design. You see the spoiler here on the roof right here to improve aerodynamics, and this car comes with a full panoramic sunroof, which I will also show from the inside of the car. So what I do like about the design of the Mach E is, if you see this line right here, right, and then you have the roof over here, so this actually makes the car look smaller and more composed and more sporty, all the while preserving the headroom in the back of the car, which is a really nice design by the people who designed this car. And I can only salute that. Not many cars have that. If you just look at it, very sleek design. It's all an illusion though, but very well thought out. So something quirky and kind of funny is how to open this car. So you see there is no door handle or anything right here. So the car comes with keyless entry, and all you got to do is press this button right here and the door opens up, and then you simply take it from here and open it up. For security reasons, you can also type in like a code that only you know to open up the car, which is right here. So this is actually a big touchpad where you can just put in your code and program it. The rear doors also open up the same way, like this. Pretty nifty feature and unique. I haven't seen it on any other car before. Look what happens when I unlock the car, and look at the turn signals in the back. See, I don't know if the camera's picking it up, but they're also sequential turn signals, and it starts from there and also turns on these big blocks one by one by one. I think my camera isn't picking it up. Yeah, I hope it comes out better when I edit the video. Okay, now let's check out the interior of the 2021 Ford Mustang Mach E. Press this, the door opens, and it opens really wide, as you all can see. Entry is really easy. Get into the car. Okay. First thing that I immediately noticed in here is that there is no lever or anything to open the door, but this little thing right here. So you have to just push it or pull it and then open the door. I would have preferred a lever right here, but hey, this is what you get. It is nice and sturdy feeling and quality wise, so there shouldn't be an issue of this. It is electric opened, I believe. So leather wrapping around the armrest over here, nice soft touch materials. It's all really well built actually. Here you have the lock and the unlock of the door. Nice sturdy feeling buttons for the windows. These are for your mirror controls. And the quality is actually really good, as you can see right here. This is actually some type of cloth. So the car comes equipped with a Bang & Olufsen sound system, and if you equip that on the car, this has the technology pack. So you have these speakers and they're covered with this cloth, and you have this speaker like a bar all over the car that you can see right here. So music plays through that. Here you can see some futuristic design for the air vents, which extends to here and also to here. Now, if we turn on the car, you are greeted by this fully digital screen right in front of you. Really clear, really crisp, even in full bright sunlight. And you can see all your information over here. The steering wheel, once again, with the Mustang logo. It feels good. It's a bit soft. I don't know why. It's leather wrapped, but it's softer than I'm used to in other cars. It does feel good and well built though, and yeah, you got some scratchy plastics over here, but overall it's just well built. Some gloss black over here, nice red stitching, as you guys can see, really sticks out. And you see this stitching like all over the car, on the seats, on the dashboard, on the sides of the doors. Now, let's move on to the pièce de la résistance of the Ford Mustang Mach E, which is this huge center iPad they stuck into the car. Kind of Tesla-like, and it is very clear. It's really responsive, as you can see right here. You are not really going to use this map because you can just connect your phone through Apple CarPlay or Android Auto, which will be a much better quality anyways. But just to know, this is also really responsive and really like responsive to the touch, and clear and bright as well, just as the fully digital gauge cluster I showed you earlier. And one thing that sticks out immediately, and that I haven't seen in any other car, electric or non-electric, is this big volume button. that is stuck in the middle of the car, or in the middle of this screen actually. And if you press this button right here, you see a nice little animation of this blue kind of color, just like expanding to mute or to unmute your music. Really large buttons, responsive to the touch. So here you have these different kind of drive modes: active, whisper, and untamed. Okay, kind of weird, but still it's unique, so I'm kind of for it. And this is so your one pedal drive, so the regenerative braking function of the car. Here you can select the ambient lighting of the car, and then this is sound propulsion. So you can, if you turn it on, you can have different types of sounds when you are driving. So this is pumped in through the speakers right here. And this is your various functions. So this is the camera of the car. It has a 360-degree camera. As you can see, pretty nice quality. Let me check this out. So yeah, these are so the parking sensors. These are the different angles of the camera, and then you have this 360-degree mode. You can enlarge it from here, so just see different corners of the car, which is really handy, because if you're squeezing into tight spots, you can just see if the corners of your car are safe and protected or not. So very nice, great quality, crystal clear screen. And of course your climate control functions here are also touch operated. Large buttons. I'm not for climate control functions integrated into touchscreens, but these are pretty large buttons. So I mean, I can actually work with it, but still, when you're driving, you do have to look down just for that slight minute or slight second, sorry, which can be a bit distracting, but still. So you have your heated steering wheel, heated seats right here that you can set according to your liking, and then your heated steering wheel, which I will not put on today because it's very warm. Moving to the bottom of the car, you see a little storage space here. Little, it's kind of really big though. And what I like a lot is that this has a wireless charging pad for your car, for your phone, I'm sorry. And it is really big, so you can charge any size of phone here. For example, in my 5 Series, I have a charging pad as well, but it's like stuck in way under the dashboard. And if you have a phone that is slightly large, it doesn't fit in there anymore. And this looks like it can hold like really, really big phones, almost like Samsung Notes or something. So this is something that I like a lot. What I don't like is this gloss black, of course. Look, this car has been just washed and it's already attracting so many fingerprints and so much dust, as you can see right here. We have your standard cup holders right here, leather wrapped around here, which is really premium feeling actually for a Ford especially. This is your middle console, your armrest. If you put it up, there is no storage space under here, but if you look like this, you can open and close this, and then you have a big middle console here with a 12-volt socket in it. Close it up and let's put this back into space. To put the car in gear, right now it is in park. As you can see, you can just switch this knob. Oh, okay, this is nice. So I have only turned on the contact for this car, so the car isn't active right now, and the dial cannot be turned. As you can see, it's blocking right here. And when I turn on the car, so put on my foot on the brake and I turn on the car, and now, okay, now you can switch it. That's a really nice and really nifty feature, because for safety reasons, obviously. Now let's check the space in the back of the car. Opening it like this, and as you can see, very wide opening rear doors, so access should be really easy, and it is. Wow, and there is absolutely loads of space in the back here. Look at my knee space. I can slouch back completely like this. I can sit up completely upright. As you can see right here, I have so much headspace left, and this is even equipped with the panoramic sunroof. The floor here is completely flat. So let me test out the middle seat, and it sits a bit firmer than the seats on the side here, but it's still quite comfortable. You sit a bit elevated, just a tad bit, so you have a nice view over the road, but your feet are gonna have no problem at all because you can just put them right here. The floor is completely flat. You have some vents over here, USB-C port and a USB port. But I think 3 people will have no problems or issues going on longer journeys. You have some pockets here in the backs of the seats to put all your files or your iPads and stuff. You have some rear bins here in the doors, which are large actually. If you have only 2 people in the back, you can recline this armrest, which reveals some cup holders, and it's also fully leather wrapped. Really premium feel actually in this car, which I'm surprised of. And also these seats come with the same red stitching and perforated leather as the seats in the front. All right. Let's check the boot space of the Ford Mustang Mach E, and just double press this button on the key. I don't know why it's worked. Oh, okay, there we go. And here we see a really wide opening actually, and this cloth can be removed if you don't need it to stack stuff. And it's a pretty decent, it's not too large for an SUV, but it's pretty decent. And you can also put this shelf down a little bit so you have more space. And if you need even more space, you can recline these 2 rear seats. You got some lights here with the Mustang logo. 12-volt socket. And of course, fully electrically closing. This being an electric vehicle, it also has a frunk, and you open it from here, 1 and 2, kind of like BMW style. And now you just open it, nice and firm opening. We have the Mustang logo right here again. And this is what I like about this car. The frunk is partitioned, so you can put your cables here and here, which leaves you space for other little stuff on both sides. So you can fit a decent amount of stuff in this car. And let's close the trunk again. There we go. Show you the lights once again. Beautiful. All right, now let's get the Ford Mustang Mach E on the road and see how it drives. So I'll put my foot on the brake, press the start button, and obviously this being an EV, it doesn't make any sound at all. And off we go. Immediately you feel that this is a heavy car, and I've had this feeling in every electric car that I've driven, which is kind of logical because the floor is filled with the batteries. This also has the dual motors and all-wheel drive, so it's going to feel heavier than it actually is. I'm on a small road here now, but it's got a nice pick. It's smooth. The suspension is kind of hard though. Let me check it out on a different type of road. Okay, and off we go. It does pick up pretty nicely. So this model, as I mentioned before, has 351 horsepower and 580 newton meters of torque. And I'm going about 70 kilometers an hour now, and let me floor it. Yeah, it's pretty fast. Not as fast as the Polestar 2 that I reviewed, but still pretty fast. I know a lot of automotive journalists are driving these cars and they're saying, oh, they're not that quick, it's okay, and this and that. But trust me, for normal people like you and me, this is fast enough. It's going to pull your back in your seat. It's not like everybody's driving Lamborghinis and Ferraris every day that this isn't going to seem fast for them. But don't worry, this car is fast enough for everybody, and it's not going to disappoint you in that aspect at all. The range of the car, when I picked up this car, it was charged for about 100%, like completely fully charged, and the range was about 513, 512 kilometers. Now it's gone down 1% and the range is 492 kilometers. So you got to keep in mind, it's an electric vehicle, it's heavy and this and that, so the range isn't going to be exactly that what they depict it to be, but still it's going to be a decent range. I think if you drive it normally in all conditions and composed, mixed driving, city highway driving, I think you can get about 420 kilometers out of it. If you drive sporty, then you're not going to get anywhere near that number, so keep that in mind. Okay, so I'm driving. The suspension is a bit hard. It's I mean, okay, the car doesn't have that much body roll. The suspension is a bit hard, but that's normal because electric vehicles, they have to compensate for the heavy batteries in the floor, so they have to make the suspensions a bit tougher. Otherwise, if they put too soft suspensions, the car is going to wobble around quite a bit and it's not going to be good for the suspension as well. So that's kind of understandable. Steering feel, well, the steering, it's not sporty at all, it's not responsive, it's kind of vague, which is to be expected from these kind of vehicles, because it's, although the name says Mustang, this isn't a Mustang coupe or doesn't handle or drive anything like that car. This is more like an SUV, and it's meant for normal driving, not sporty driving in any way. But the steering feels good in your hand. It's pretty relaxing to drive. The car overall is pretty relaxing to drive. You can just put your arm here. There is soft touch material over here on the doors. This console, the middle armrest is high enough, so you have all the support you can need. These seats are pretty supportive. I am pretty surprised about that. They are really soft. They have really nice lumbar and back support, and the leather feels nice. Fully electric seats, of course, and heated, as I mentioned before. So I think people driving longer journeys or highway driving, they will be perfectly at ease in this car. It also comes with all the latest tech like lane keep assist, distance control, adaptive cruise control. It has this one pedal drive. Okay, one thing, now mentioning that one pedal drive, one thing I have to say is that when you're braking in this car, so initially when you're braking, obviously, and that's the case in any electric vehicle, the brakes don't immediately apply. Why is that? Because when you start off by braking, the brake energy comes from the electric motor going into reverse. So it's a different feeling. And when you press the pedal a bit harder, then the brakes immediately grab like the discs, and then you feel it like, oh, and it does take getting used to a little bit, but I think after a couple of days of driving electric vehicles, you do get used to it. But for me, every time it's a bit of a surprise, but do keep that in mind and don't get startled. Okay, so visibility, right in front of you, it's okay. You have elevated seating position. You can look right ahead of you. It's very clear. There's a bit of a dead spot here in this A-pillar. The corner in the back on the right does have quite a big blind spot, and the window in the back is sloped and it's pretty high. So the visibility isn't super great, but that's where the 360-degree camera comes into play. So if you're buying this car or a car like this, do opt for that 360-degree camera option, because that will save your car from scratches and bumps and bruises and all of that nasty stuff. All right, I have a straight road ahead of me. Let me floor the throttle once again. Woo! Ah, yeah. It is pretty quick, this car. But you do notice that the battery life goes down quite significantly when you floor the throttle. It's quiet in here, it's serene. Sound deadening isn't at the level of the higher premium cars, but it's still pretty good because I don't hear that much noise from the outside. There's no engine in the car, of course, this being an electric vehicle, so there is no noise from that coming out. Tire noise, there is practically no tire noise, or not that I can hear from at this moment. There is no wind noise coming from these mirrors, and that being said, these mirrors are pretty small, I noticed, because They really like little fat mirrors. And but I mean, I can see very clearly, but you do have to set them quite close to you, you know, like angled towards you to see everything behind you. There is no noise, no tire noise, no significant tire noise, and no wind noise that I can hear at this time. So it's pretty good. The bonnet does have these nice creases and bumps in it, like an actual Mustang, and it does give you the feeling that you're driving with a sporty car a bit, because it is really a beefy hood right in front of you. And you can, for a more sporty feeling, you can just set the seat to its lowest setting, and then your head is barely sticking out of the window here. And then you have the feeling that you are driving a pretty low car, although the car isn't that low, it's pretty high, this being an SUV. Let me put up the seat again, because in an SUV I want to drive at an elevated position, you know, I want to see everything in the road. If I want to drive sporty, I'm going to buy an actual Mustang. But still, everything is clearly, the screens are very clear. They give you all the information right in front of you. This screen is really large, it's really big, and it's very clear as well. And now that I'm driving, I want to set the temperature, like just press it. Okay, you do have to take your eyes off the road for quite a bit, but once your finger is on it for the temperature, you can just swipe up and down and you can set it that way. Room in the front is plentiful. You have plenty of room to sit. Your passenger right next to you will have a lot of room, and as I showed before, room for the back passenger is also plentiful. So on longer journeys, nobody will struggle for space or fight for space if you have kids in the back. So I do think it's a pretty decent long distance cruiser. Don't go on too bumpy roads actually, because I'm on quite a bumpy road now, and the suspension is pretty firm, and it just like bumps you down, up and down, up and down, and it's not good, especially after you've eaten a heavy meal, because everything is going to come out. But apart from that, it's a decently calming and relaxing drive. It is pretty premium right in here because it's built really well. The quality, I have to say, the build quality of the Ford Mustang Mach E is better than that of the Polestar 2 that I've reviewed. If you haven't seen that review, I will link it down below or put it up here somewhere, so check it out as well, because that was also an epic car. But the build quality overall in here is better than the Polestar 2, and I am really liking it actually, because you have all these soft touch materials, this leather on the seats, on the middle console, even on the door handles, and you do have some scratchy plastics down here on the door bins and like here under the middle console a bit. Design wise, I think this car looks absolutely gorgeous. They got the design right on point. The front of the car looks aggressive, it looks sleek, and it fits right with the back of the car, which kind of looks like a Mustang, but overall it doesn't look like a Mustang. But the back, the rear lights are kind of like that. It looks really good with the sequential turn signals, both in the front and in the back lights. You have full LED both in the front and in the back in the rear lights, and I think the design from the side, it looks sleek, it looks sporty. Although it doesn't drive sporty, it does look sporty and very angry. And that's also the difference with the Polestar 2, that the looks are really proportional, whereas the Polestar 2 has the backside that's kind of out of place and doesn't really match with the rest of the car.
Sla bij het verkeerslicht scherp linksaf.
Okay, thank you very much. So the proportions of this car are just right, and everything just fits perfectly together with this car. And I think people in the market for an EV, if they're comparing cars, they would like the look of this car more than a Tesla or a Polestar 2, in my opinion. The build quality in the inside is also on a higher level than any Ford I've ever driven. So this is actually a pretty premium car, in my opinion. Everything is just well built. There are no intrusive noises, no screechy sounds, no intrusive sounds in the car. So if you're in the market for an EV, go check out this car, compare it with other electric vehicles, and then make up your mind. Anyways guys, this was it for today. Hope you guys enjoyed the review. If you did, like and subscribe. I've got plenty more videos coming up. In the meantime, drive safe and see you next time.